Hi everybody, today we're gonna make tortilla de patata, okay? Spanish way. This is in English, dedicated to my friends in UK. Okay, so the ingredients are the following: potatoes, eggs, onion, half an onion already cut, olive oil, and salt. Okay, olive oil and salt. And also beer, but the beer is for the chef, you know that. Yeah. Okay, right now we have the potatoes already peeled and rinsed. Okay, we rinse them a little bit. And now what we're going to do is cut them in thin slices, yeah? So what we do is, please come over here. We're gonna cut a slice to make a base, and then we put our fingers like that, so the knife slides on the side of our fingers, never like that, because we may cut our nails, and then we go like that. Wow, they're rolling away. Doesn't matter. Okay, same thing again. Make it flat, and then there we go. We've already sliced potatoes. Now we're going to slice cut thin slices of the onion. Same thing again. You may think it's a lot of onion, but this is going to disappear amongst the potatoes, and it's just going to give it a really nice flavor. Next step, take a sip of the beer. Now it's useful to have a big bowl, right? A big salad bowl. And we're going to put everything in it. Oh, this is a little disaster. Start going everywhere, but since my counter is really clean, it doesn't matter. You pick it up, you cook with your hands, so no problem at all. Right, so we're gonna add some salt to it. I tend to cook salty, so don't take my references to salt, but I mean thoroughly salted, okay? Right? So you mix it like that with your hands. Okay, now we're gonna use deep pan, yeah? And it's better if it has a lid. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's good if you have a lid for it. And then we're gonna set the fire on. For like this one goes up to 12, we're gonna put it around 10, yeah? And we're gonna use a good bit of olive oil because we need to fry the potatoes, yeah? This olive oil, we can save it to use it other times because the potatoes do not ruin your oil. It doesn't leave any debris in the oil or anything, so you can store it for like frying potatoes or eggs or anything else another time. And you can use one of these things. This is an oil recycling container, yeah? So what you do is you throw the oil here from the pan. It has a little filter that leaves whatever is there, and you save the oil for another time. Okay? Okay. Next thing, another sip of a beer. Now our potatoes already salted go in the pan. You see the amount of oil we've used. It's already hot. So we put the potatoes in the pan. Yeah? Now you can do something fancy like this, okay, and flip them over, but it's not necessary. You can use one of these things. I don't know how to say it in English. In Spanish it's called spatula, okay? Or espumadera. And just flip them over a little bit, you know, so they all get their oil. And now we're gonna let them stay cook with the lid on, so it keeps the heat and they don't get burnt. And we're gonna remove the lid and twist them, flip them over a little bit, like every 2-3 minutes. Okay. Yeah? So this is progressing well. So once in a while you need to scrape the bottom of the pan, so make sure they're not sticking to it. And just flip them over, okay? Carefully. You see that they're getting brown? And this is a good sign. The moment they start getting soft, you can start just breaking them with the spatula. But we're not gonna do that just now. We're just gonna flip them over a little bit and put the lid back on. Okay, so now I've changed to this. This is actually to cook fish, but I like it because I can press with it. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, since the potatoes are already soft, we're gonna cut them with this. So we'll just make them smaller pieces, because this is gonna improve your tortilla by a good length. You see how it goes? And then you flip it over and you continue as so. So we've been doing this for a little while and it's coming through. You see that we have the potatoes that are already in much smaller pieces, and we just continue to do this, you know, just cut them like that, flip them over, cut them like that, flip them over, and you cannot tell the onion anymore. The onion is lost in here. It's giving flavor. I was gonna come up with a word that doesn't even exist, that is aporting for the Spanish word aportar. But anyway, you know what I mean. Just giving flavor to the whole thing. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is get the eggs ready. Yeah. So the proportion of eggs to potatoes is like 1.5. So if you have, say, 4 big potatoes or 6 medium-sized potatoes, you can have 7 or 8 eggs. We've used sort of like 5, so we're gonna use 6 eggs, 6 to 7 eggs. Always when I crack the eggs, I never do it on the edge of whatever surface I'm using, whatever container I'm using, because you may end up with bits of the eggshell inside. So I use the edge of my counter. 3 eggs, 4, 5, 6, 7. While we're doing this, the potatoes keep cooking, so we're gonna run here and flip this thing over so it doesn't get burnt. You see it's getting stuck a little bit to the bottom. This is good, this is good. This gives flavor. It's not burnt, it's just a little bit roasted. This is good. And this fell off the pan back inside. Yeah? We're gonna give it a good professional flip, like that, you see? This is almost ready. When it's like that, you can stop anytime. I sometimes leave it a little bit more so it gets a little bit more, you know, these brown bits that give nice flavor to it. Salt. Every bit has to have its salt. And then with a fork, we're gonna bake the eggs. We don't use one of these whisks that you use for baking. I don't know why, but my mom told me that if you bake the eggs too much, the tortilla doesn't come out nice. So we use a fork and we just bake them like this. Okay, so we have our eggs and our potatoes ready. These I left a little bit out of the fire because we don't want this too hot, because if we throw it into the eggs right away, it may cook itself in here instead of in the pan, right? So I've left it a little bit out of the fire. The fork, we just mix it all together. Okay, so now we're getting near the finishing touches of our tortilla. We're gonna use this oil. For this last bit, you don't need a lot of oil, okay? You just need enough oil to cover the surface of the pan, yeah? Normally, you may wanna use any non-sticky pan, and this is very important, has to be a non-sticky pan, okay? So, like for example, this one has got a good surface, it's not been damaged, good non-sticky pan, okay? But I know that I can do it with this one that's already been damaged a little bit, and what I do is just spin it like that a little bit to make sure that all the surface of the pan that's going to be in contact with the tortilla is covered with oil. Again, the fire is on number 10. It goes all the way to 12, so it's not all the way high, but it's not middle, it's not halfway up either. It's just a little bit more than halfway up, okay? So you see? So you make sure that gets heated, the mixture with the eggs and the tortilla. I mean the potatoes. And then I like to use this is to scrape it nice. And here we go. Yeah, go like this. Get all in. Everything inside. And then we're gonna keep it right here. So now you see that's uneven. We're gonna do like this. And we're gonna make it even. You see that the oil stays on the sides. You see that on the edges is the oil. If you have too much oil, when we go flip the tortilla over, the oil is gonna fall on your arm and it's gonna burn like hell. So you don't want too much oil here, okay? And we're gonna use a plate, a normal plate, to flip it over. Has to be a plate that fits inside the pan. If the plate is bigger than the pan, it may wobble and you may end up with your tortilla all over the place. Just in case, you keep your bowl nice and close, so when you flip it over on top of the bowl, okay? And now, to make sure that the tortilla slides when you're flipping it over, you're just gonna sprinkle some oil on top of your plate and just go like this, so it's all covered, yeah? And this is ready for when you're gonna flip the tortilla over. And when do you flip the tortilla over? Come over here. See these little bits that are coming through? You see the bubbles there? There are only 2. When you have enough bubbles, like say 5 or 6 bubbles around, that's when the tortilla is like cooking through, yeah? And that's when we're gonna flip it over for the first time. I normally flip it over a couple times. So we're gonna wait till we see a little bit more of these bits, yeah? And another thing important, when you have your tortilla, you make sure that you go like that, and you see that it doesn't stick, it doesn't move with the pan, it's free. That means it's not stuck to to the bottom of the pan. This is very important because when you flip it over, you don't want half of a tortilla to be stuck to the bottom of your pan. So now we go for the third flip of the tortilla. We wanted to fix the bit that broke over, and we're gonna see if we were successful or not. See? Our tortilla is coming on just nice. Okay. This could be our last flip of the tortilla. Since this side is already pretty nicely brown and so on, so what we're going to do is just leave it like this and turn off the fire. So with the residual heat, it's just going to finish cooking the tortilla. Okay, so now we're going to get the tortilla out of the pan. So we're going to use a new plate, just as the one that we used to flip it over, but this is just to get it out. So we go like this, and here's our tortilla, ready and done. So we're gonna leave it here, and my advice is to leave it for a little while to cool down before you cut it, before you slice it, because it's better, you know, it just turns out a lot better. So we're getting ready to eat our nice tortilla, and keeping with our healthy habits, we're gonna accompany our tortilla with a nice juicy tomato, actually two, that we slice. I like to put a little pepper on it, a little salt, olive oil, nice extra virgin olive oil, and a little bit of oregano. That's my choice. You may want to not use it or whatever, but I like it like this. And of course, to finish off our cooking, just continue with the beer.